Hello and welcome back to the next episode of our breakdown, the All New breakdown of House of the Dragon. Everybody, episode 2. I did not. What is the title of this one? I didn't catch
I was just thinking that actually.
If I had to guess, Second Sons might be the name of the next one based on the end of this one.
Sure.
I don't know. Here, let's see. Let's
immediately
pause a quick research immediately as the show.
I was too excited just to hit play. I didn't even look.
It's called The Rogue Prince, which is an apt title.
Apt title.
So holy crap, this show is clearly keeping pace.
Yeah.
My first reactions, so good. Like this is already hitting the heights of like mid show Game of Thrones, but in its second episode. Is that accurate? Would you say?
It's getting into it a lot faster than Game of Thrones did, definitely. Like in terms of quality, first 2 episodes probably better than. I mean, and that makes sense. Obviously, much bigger budget, but
that showdown on the Dragonstone Bridge. I went. We are in peak Game of Thrones, but we are in the second episode of the show, and I am so excited. And the intro, we got an intro.
Yes,
the reports were that there was no intro, and I love that they kept that hidden. Even though, it's a different kind of intro. It's not the map, which I'm glad it's not the same thing. But it's the
if
blood.
You're using the same music, might as well switch up.
It's the fire and blood. I love that there's something there because it was kind of they literally no one. So there was press screeners, but there was no intro in any of them, and they were told that there wasn't going to be an intro. And last week they kept it secret, like it just was like faded to the logo of the Targaryen house. So we're like, there's no intro. But the fact that they that's like such a light little non-spoiler thing where it just feels good. I was like, we're listening to the music again. It's like, here we are.
Super exciting moment when that came on.
It felt good. It felt good. But yeah, I loved this episode. Would you say you liked it more or less than last week's?
Ooh. I think there was some really good action in the last episode. So like, I don't know. I would say it's on par. Like it's
I agree. I think it's exactly on par.
Exactly on par. Like it feels like just a great continuation. Like same quality. No.
Exactly.
Yeah.
My only pause for the potential future of the show before we start breaking down the episode is they are making it clear, and I brought this up last week, but this episode takes place 6 months to a year after last week's. And in the behind the scenes thing, like they have mentioned that the actors playing the young versions, like they're credited as young blank, like it's young Rhaenyra or young Alicent, implying that we're gonna have an even greater time jump. Which I don't know how I feel about it. I think last week might be the last week we see some of these actors, which is a shame because I really like them in the roles.
I've been worried about this because I think it's going to be a very
it might be jarring.
Sort of jarring change. And it's just too bad, because in Game of Thrones, we got to see some actors grow up like so much, just thinking about like Arya going from, season 1 to 8, just like,
and to lose
Maisie Williams, literally just growing up. And you're losing that if you're already getting rid of an actor 3 episodes in.
And to lose some of these actors, like the girl playing Rhaenyra, a woman, I mean, she's like 22. Same with Alicent. They're both like 23, playing 15. But they are so good. I love them.
They've been great, and
it sucks that we're going to lose.
I'm really not looking forward to losing that.
But
I'm with you there.
I do have, after seeing another episode, I do have faith in these writers to maintain the tone and consistency of the character and the themes to hopefully carry it through. And they are adapting Fire and Blood, which is a pretty loose. It's similar to the Silmarillion. How it's like a textbook essentially.
It's more of like a history.
More like a history.
So it jumps around a lot.
It jumps around. So I understand. But
did you see the promo for the next episode?
I skipped it purposely. I saw some chunks, but I usually don't. I know there's probably going to be, Daemon going up against the crab.
Yeah, we'll talk about it at the end. Let's talk about the episode before the next episode.
Yes, let's talk about the episode. So I
do want to bring up some stuff
the Rogue Prince. I'd say the central conflict of the episode is it's, as I mentioned, it's 6 months later, 6 months to a year later. Daemon has just gone rogue. He's taken Dragonstone, which is the island that you may remember from the original series that Stannis was hanging out at.
And later Daenerys.
Very, very popular island. But he's just hung out there. He's like, no, this is mine now. Even though it's technically Rhaenyra's, and he has declared that he is having a wedding, an heir, and he's taken a dragon egg from the keep, because it's the Targaryen tradition to get born with a dragon egg in your cradle. And he's just going all out. He's antagonizing the king. That is one main thing, and then the king getting remarried, I'd say, is the other main plot of the episode, which included some both hilarious but telling scene, hilarious in their poignant themes, like him walking along with a 12-year-old girl, and he's just like, God, man, like,
but once again I feel like Viserys is like one of the better guys who
he's a good dude. He seems like a good dude. Like, just like
I feel like some characters would just be like, yep, like, this is a 12-year-old.
Everyone's telling him you got to marry this girl.
Just do it. I mean, and politically it's a good idea, but I like that he's just like,
his one lord, he's like, I want your unfettered opinion. He's like, you got to do it. He's like, what's the problem? He's like, she's 12. And he's like, well, she'll get older. And he's like, no, man, that's messed up. Messed up.
Obviously, he ends up going with Alicent, which like they totally alluded to last episode. I feel like we missed that, like, sort of. We were like, why is she going and seeing the king? Obviously, Otto is trying to set them up. I feel like I don't know why I missed that.
The way that the writers talk about it in the post-ep thing is that Alicent is going out of a legitimate affection and care for the king, because she feels seen. Like, she feels that talking to him, it's an environment where she isn't really overlooked.
Yeah, it definitely.
And the king,
not like she's forced to be there.
And the king legitimately just is happy to have someone to talk to. But Otto is also at the same time trying to press them closer together. Like, that is also a thing that is happening on top of it, which is the political manipulations. And the writers also say, like, there was the way they framed. Because it is sad, because like Viserys seems like a good dude, and when he's asking Rhaenyra, like, I gotta remarry, it has to be someone, but I don't want it to be someone I hate, and like, you'll accept what I do. And he misunderstands that conversation, or Rhaenyra going like, yes, but Rhaenyra doesn't say, oh, except if it's my best friend.
Yeah, I mean, he obviously left that out intentionally.
Obviously. Well, that's my point. Is I don't even know if he's thinking about it. I think he was just looking for the blanket. I need to do what I have to do. Because also it seems like he's also doing it to give a double,
Well, he knew that
screw you, Lord
Rhaenyra was going to be upset. Like, I mean, he looked at her like before he like said it,
Well, I think you should watch House of the Dragon. Any TV show recommendations? I think you should watch the show called House of the Dragons that we're talking about right now, because it's really good. But yeah, what was your favorite? Let's talk about the marriage stuff for now. What was your favorite part about this plot? Yep.
The marriage plot specifically?
Yeah, because I just want to split, because I feel like those are the two halves. It's the marriage plot and then the Daemon plot. Like,
I think. I mean, I think definitely the scene with like he's walking with a 12-year-old. I liked that scene. It was. It's good
because it's the look on his face.
Yeah, it was poignant. It was like well done, and just like the announcement at the council, like awesome scene. Just. Like what's building up with Corlys seems really interesting. Like, he sort of went very antagonistic very quickly. Obviously, the ending of that is that he's going to team up with Daemon. I didn't see that coming. I guess I maybe sort of did, but
I kind of did, because he's always seen from the jump of the show, it's them at the High Council, and he's given Viserys the side eye, because he's Rhaenys' wife or husband. Rhaenys is his wife, and they've been like kind of screwed over by society the whole time.
And Otto is a little more mischievous than I mean, I guess this is just Game of Thrones. Like, everyone's making a play.
I think someone on this of those three, of Otto, Corlys, and I think someone's dying soon. I think we're gonna have.
Because they do a time jump. They can only recast like someone's gonna need to die before the time jump, I'd say, which is probably at the end of next episode. But
I think
someone's dying.
I think someone's.
Oh, I think the one dude that. The unfettered opinion.
That guy. Well, I don't know if I really count it. Yeah, that guy's dead, but I don't know if I really count him. Yeah, I loved the Rhaenys and Rhaenyra conversation though, on the tower as they're looking at him walking with her 12-year-old daughter.
Yeah, she's like, great. That was classic Game of Thrones.
Yeah, because
very like Cersei, Sansa a little bit to me.
There was a moment there where she was fully doing the Daenerys, like, when I am queen, I will change things. And it's like, unfortunately, that's not going to happen.
She's going to break the wheel.
And it sucks. It's like sucks that you just know the weight of the world of history. It won't happen, because we've seen Game of Thrones. Like, it just won't. And it sucks, because I was on a stream yesterday with Corey and Aubrey invited me on, and they were talking about how the Rings of Power is going to be. They're making an analogy, saying that the Rings of Power is going to. It's sort of like the High Republic era of Lord of the Rings in terms of the timeline, and it's the same thing here for Game of Thrones.
It's a lot more complicated.
I know, but they were making a broader analogy.
Sure,
yeah. There's a big defeat of Sauron, and the evil's gone. It's sort of the lull between the two major evils. Anyway, because you see in like the original Lord of the Rings trilogy, there's a bunch of ruins. Anyway, you get the point. In Game of Thrones, is the same thing. Game of Thrones, like by the end of the show, when Cersei's in control, stuff is just so dire and bad. And like I was thinking about it, like the visual language of House of the Dragon. Like I was thinking about the Kingsguard alone. Like by the end, you're like, damn, these dudes, just the way they look, it's like these are like evil fascist, like it's awful. It's like bad. You look at them, they're like total evil. They're like, literally the mountain's like a zombie man. But in this, it just feels so much lighter. Like it feels so much more positive. I mean, they talk about it in the show. Like
there's been peace for quite some time.
There's been peace for quite some time, and it sucks that
not for long.
Not for long, but it is cool to sit in this High Republic to make a Star Wars analogy era where this is like the height of this era. This relative era, because obviously they mention just like how there's the Old Republic in Star Wars way back when with like the Valyrian House of Valyrian. There was some crazy stuff going on with like thousands of dragons but not now. But
see like a flashback to Valeria. That'd be super cool.
I don't know, but I love this episode.
I think it's impressive that they've like you have sort of like foreboding like idea that something is going to go wrong like soon. Like in that piece, like I feel like that's how it is in High Republic too. Like it's on the horizon, but like they've done that without the like existential threat of the White Walkers, which is like the end all, be all end all. Like that is like going to destroy the world. Like they don't have that here. Like we know it's just going to be a bunch of infighting, yet you still feel that sense of dread.
Which I wanted to bring up something from last episode because they mentioned the wall in this episode and like, we might send Daemon to the wall. I totally didn't bring it up last time, but how like Viserys has the dagger that Arya kills the Night King with. Like that's what he was showing off. And I didn't really like fully make that connection to be like, oh crap, like that is the blade and that is the thing that they are passing down here. Just some of the thematic and literal connectivity to Game of Thrones continues to impress me. But I mean, let's switch to the Daemon plotline,
which is what I loved. It was shorter this episode, but
riveting stuff.
That showdown on the Dragonstone Bridge, it was shot beautifully. The score was amazing. Just like very intense moment. Like, I didn't know what was going to happen.
Rhys Ifans as Otto Hightower. I'm afraid we're going to lose him.
I am too.
Pretty soon. I think he might be one of those characters who gets nixed, but he is giving such a good performance as this character. His like the way he bursted out at Daemon and is like, you're just the way he delivered every single line. He rattled off like 10 things. You're dishonoring this. It's like, whoa. And the way it felt like he was stabbing him each time he said something. And it was cool. And the politics of that scene, like the fact that Daemon lied, he wasn't getting married to her and they were not pregnant. Like that was just like a total bluff. Like that took me by surprise. I didn't think he was literally that much of a chaotic kind of guy. You still with me, Gibbs? You're breaking up.
I'm with you. I'm reading chat. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm with
you. I meant literally. Like you froze on my end.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It got a little choppy.
Connection's been a little dicey over here at Casa de Gibbs. Well, Xfinity issues past few days.
Xfinity. There's been some people raiding your shores. They're
I guess so.
In the shipping lanes. The fact that it was all the ruse, like he didn't, and the way that Malaria felt about, or Malaria. Yeah, not malaria. This is disease. Malaria felt like, bro, you lied. You said we were getting married, and I have a kid. Like that is just not. That's not true. Like he just totally was manipulating everyone in that situation just to piss off Viserys. The way he threw the dragon egg back at Rhaenyra, I think that might be my favorite.
Yeah,
favorite
thing. It turns around. It's just like whew.
Throws it back.
And it's so the good. 2 dragons like pulling up.
Oh, 2 dragons showdown! I was like,
the initial awesome. Like I forget Daemon's dragon's name, but when that thing popped over the hillside. Also, just when Rhaenyra like going under the clouds, and the clouds sort of rippling under the wings.
And her outfit too, Rhaenyra's dragon riding outfit was so cool.
Dylan says that ep slapped. You could be in here talking about
It's true, you could be, but he's not. It did slap though. You're absolutely right. Having that kind of standoff.
Talk about the crab feeder briefly. They teased him. They give us the final look at him. They show us some very brutal scenes of a guy.
They open the ep with some crab eating.
I know Dylan loved that one. Dylan's a big crab guy.
Dylan
not actually. He doesn't like him. Or maybe that's lobsters actually. But, okay.
Similar enough. Off topic, crabs. It's brutal
sort
though.
Of off topic.
Brutal.
Yes.
I mean, very gory, and the way that was shot as well. I want to shout out just the cinematography of that scene, especially the end when the camera is just sweeping through the beach, and it's the repetitive. He's like nailing someone in to get. I love that. I don't know. It'll be because he's not like a main villain. He's probably not going to be a main villain of the show.
I don't know if he's in the books.
I like the.
It seems to me like he could just be written in like as a way to get some good like.
Well, because he would. This is someone who would be a footnote in history, and I love the idea that they're filling in these gaps, but also it's someone who is just like, this is a pirate. There's the free cities involved, but no one is directly at war with the crown. They're just financing this guy to kind of be crazy on the lanes, and stuff like that, often gets forgotten. And in a show like this, sometimes Game of Thrones, especially towards the end, I brought this up last week, it started to feel very like every single thing was kind of crazy. And it was going fast, and it felt less like the long and plodding political TV show we were watching, and more like the, superhero action movie. But when you introduce characters like this, people who are small in the world, and then that's what this episode ended talking about, like Corlys and Daemon linking up. Dude, you're the clacking to your keyboard is.
Sorry, I got the mechanical keyboard, man. You know what?
The mechanic, it's overpowering.
It's good for everyone but me, or other way around. Sorry. It's good for no one but me. Sorry.
It's good for everyone but me. But yeah, the notion of like in this world, these second sons, we have to fight to make our worth, and that would unite characters like this, and someone who's manipulated in the center, like this guy who's a crab feeder, just a crazy person. I mean, I assume that's him at the end with like the skull matted onto his face, all painted up with like blood. Like that person's just insane. And manipulating. I just love the politics of the show. I was obsessed this episode. All of the different like drift, like they're thrown in of House of Valerian, not Valerian, but Valerian is called Driftwood. Like I think that's so cool.
Sick, yeah.
Like I just think there's so much stuff in there that's. I don't know. I
just,
love
the world building. Is always so good, and I feel like with other like shows, people might consider those kind of scenes to be sort of slow. Like if this was like a Star Wars show, people would be like, "Where's all the action this episode?" Like Game of Thrones has always had a good way of making this exposition so great, whether it be through just like the dialogue and performances and just like the backgrounds, like the vistas are always so interesting. Just like it's fun to look at, and it's just interesting. Like you're truly invested. And just like the politics of the world, it's very interesting.
A scene that also hit me emotionally was when they're in the septum, and Alicent and Rhaenyra are both praying to their passed away mothers. That was emotional in that scene because you have to
visually beautiful too.
It was visually stunning too. Just the pain that both of these girls are feeling, and I enjoy people can say that the show is woke or whatever. I've never understood those sorts of complaints, but the way that they are specifically contextualizing these women's journey through this world. It's not the show is only about women. That's silly, but the way they are doing it is just has been so poignant and beautiful so far. I've just really appreciated the perspective that they've added in this. And it's not that I was absent in Game of Thrones.
No, it's not a new thing. It's a big thing.
Yeah, it's not. It's a huge thing, in fact. But what I was gonna say is just like everything else in Game of Thrones. Towards the end, sometimes the forest got lost through the trees, whereas here it feels a bit more particular and plotting, and that's not a bad thing. I really don't think that's a bad thing. Like you said, in a Star Wars show, maybe people are gonna complain, and I think that might be how Andor's gonna be.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is good for me. But I just love taking the time to just seep yourself in the world.
Yeah, and I think the setup of this episode is going to lead to like a big action-packed episode next season, which we saw some footage in the promo of that.
Yeah,
I don't want to spoil too much for you.
No, it's okay.
It was exciting stuff.
It looked. I saw because I was skipping through like the plus 10 seconds at a time, and I saw dragon, and I saw like fire, and I went, okay, next week.
Yeah, okay. There's a dragon pulling up to the crab feeder, probably ridden by Damon, and there's going to be a big fight there. So
I bet
between the City Watch and
I love that the gold cloaks just followed him. Like some of the gold cloaks just like, yep, we're loyal to Damon. It's cool. It's cool stuff. It's cool.
Yeah, and also on the other sort of front, the Viserys front of things, there's going to be a pretty big time jump because he has a son already in this next episode.
Oh,
with Allison. Yes, there is a child who looked like he had hair. So it might be a couple years.
I think next week is, like I said, is going to be the last episode
we see. And Rhaenyra definitely looked like older. So I would say we're having at least like a 2 to 3 year time jump. I'm surprised sort of about that the crab feeder stuff is still like going to be going on.
Well, it could be a time jump mid-ep.
Yeah, it's not a bad point actually.
Because I think next week is probably gonna be the last week we have a lot of these actors.
I know.
Particularly the younger.
Sad about that. I'm bummed about that. I love the Rhaenyra performance so far.
Oh, just briefly, I also want to talk about Sir Kristen Cole, because I'm glad they're continuing that thread. I liked him. I like that. I like that scene when she was.
He's gonna be evil.
The Kingsguard.
I'm
think he's gonna be evil.
Yeah, he's gonna end up doing something like horrible.
Oh damn!
They always bring a character in you.
He's not like a Podrick type. Podrick. He's good.
Oh, I love me some Podrick. Forgot all about Podrick.
I was just gonna say
Podrick was a squire though. He wasn't like
he became a knight. I mean, he became at the end eventually. Podrick.
We'll see.
OG character arc. We love some Podrick. But I wanted to bring up how the show since the last episode has been officially renewed for a season 2, and that was sort of up in the air. Like, are they gonna do a season 2? Like, how are they gonna take that? Because there's gonna be so many time jumps. Because I also rewatched the first episode as you did, and the beginning of the episode, it is narrated by Rhaenyra. She says like, "This is my story," and it's clearly a different woman and it's the older actress playing her.
Mm-hmm.
But once again, it gave me more context that when I watched the show back, it is a framing device of this is Rhaenyra telling this story. I don't know. I just got more excited more hopeful for the fact that I trust that they'll be able to complete, even though this season is going to span like decades potentially, and I think that's it's confirmed at this point. I mean, people have seen other parts of the show. It is going to span decades. It makes me confident that the writers will keep the core of the show consistent and whole, and it's not going to be like, oh man, it's a whole new story now after 3 episodes. What's going on? I don't know.
Yeah, and I was hearing too that the showrunners have already like have an exact idea of where the show is going to end. Like the ending isn't written per se, but like it's set in stone.
I think it's set in stone, yeah.
So they know where they're going.
And when you start a show with "This is my story," usually you know how that story ends.
That's how Andor's going about it.
Andor's going about it too, and yeah, I mean, I think I don't have anything else that I really want to bring up. I mean, I'll give it final ratings, but is there any other scene that pops out to you want to bring up?
There was a lot of good scenes this episode.
I've been loving Lord Corlys. Corlys has grown on me a lot.
Yes.
He was good last episode, but he really shined this episode. I love what the actor is doing with the role.
Yeah, I think still that scene, just seeing Dragonstone again was so cool, especially just like the beaches where we saw like not Viserys, Varys and
I think he got burned alive.
Talking,
cool.
Yeah, it's just like the girl.
No, remember when Varys?
No, yeah. Yes.
On Dragonstone.
I do remember. A lot of people were burned there.
That's true.
Just like it's great in the Sept. It's just good to see all these old locations back. I'd like to see more north at some point, but
I think we might get it. We did see a Stark last episode. We did get a brief Stark.
I want to see the Wall again. Love the Wall. That's one of my favorite like fantasy concepts.
Big ice wall.
Big ice wall.
Awesome. A comically large ice wall. Yeah. So once again, I agree with you. The scene, the dragon standoff is so dope. It's definitely the best part of the episode. I don't know if anything else jumps out like off the top of my head. I love the king Viserys building his Valyrian castle, because I think I identify with that. His little collectibles, his dragon. Yeah. I was like, I get this, man. I understand him. Let's go with the final rating. It's been about 25 minutes. It's about the same as last week. I give this another 9 out of 10. Like, this is the same. It's on the same par. It's literally almost perfect. and my enjoyment of it.
Yeah, I'm at like 9.2.
Yeah. The show's good, guys. Please go watch it.
Please go watch this show.
I want
try to get Johnny to go and watch it.
I know, Johnny. Yeah, you don't. I can't stress enough. I don't need you. You don't need to have seen Game of Thrones to enjoy this. Looking at you, Dimes. I know you're a fan of
asking the hard hitting questions.
You're watching. Now. Did you think She-Hulk is woke? Okay.
Well, I don't know if we could delve into this right now.
I don't know if we can delve into this right now. I would quickly say no. You should watch episode 2 because I really liked episode 2.
Yeah, we both liked episode 2 a lot. So.
But yeah, that's a 9 out of 10. We're riding high on House of the Dragon still. I'm excited to see where this show goes.
I cannot wait for next week. I cannot wait.
Yeah, next week's going to be a good one.
And Rings of Power next week. So.
And we will be covering that as well. I believe in a similar way. Right? I was with the streams. So
yeah, that would be a stream on Thursday night.
Yep. And I'm excited for that too. And Wings of Power gets 2 episodes next week. One on Thursday and one on Friday, I believe is how it goes. They're doing yeah. So Rings of Power next week, guys. But also we will see you hopefully next Sunday for the 3rd episode of House of the Dragon, where there's going to be a great big old battle with the crab feeder. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. We like 100 people watched the last one of these streams, so we appreciate that. We know someone's out there watching.
People are watching House of Dragons.
People watching House of the Dragons.
Game of Thrones is back.
Game of Thrones is back, baby. I don't like one thing I don't like about the show is how it's called HBO Max Game of Thrones House of the Dragon. Like I wish it was just called House of the Dragon. It's called whatever. We know what it is. All right, but yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Check us out on all the socials, and we will see you on the next one. Bye, everybody.
Bye.